Hey, Monica, how are you today? Thanks for coming in. I was going to go over one of the books that I have. It's called Stocking Up. Oh, you can't see it's backwards, isn't it? Well, it says Stocking Up. I don't know why the print shows backwards on my screen. I hope it doesn't on yours. Anyway, this is how to preserve and preserve the foods you grow naturally, and this has got all kinds of things in it. It's a book that I think that everybody needs. Okay, especially if they've got a homestead or if they're into survival or anything like that. Oh boy, you're all the way down in Florida, huh? Hey, Freedom. How are you? And no, it's not beer. It's Diet Dr. Pepper. Hi, Susan. Figured I'd get everybody a couple of minutes. I'm gonna kind of go through a little bit of this book called Stocking Up. It's a book I've had for many years. I read it cover to cover once, but or I didn't ever read actually every word, but I looked at everything from cover to cover. And so, I mean, this has everything from canning and harvesting and blanching and storage and pickles and relishes, jams, jellies, juicing, dairy products, meats, nuts, seeds, and grains. This book has got a lot of information in it. Okay. Anyway, it's called Stocking Up by the editors of Organic Gardening and Farming. Okay. Rodale Press. This is kind of an old book. Let's see when it was made. It was fourth printing done in 1974. So this book was printed in 1974. Okay, I don't think you guys are going to see it. I think it's going to show it backwards. I'm not sure. So if there's anything in particular you guys want to know that's in the book, I would be more than glad to read it to you. Is there anything specific that you have interest in? Vegetables and fruits, or dairy products, or meats, or nuts, seeds, and grains? Oh, okay, good. I'm glad it's only backwards for me. Because my picture, it shows backwards. So I don't know why. It is what it is, I guess. Is there anything in particular you guys want me to bring up for you? Hi, Freaky. And Freedom and Monica and Susan and everybody that's here. God, you guys are awesome showing up to my live stream. This is really super cool. Okay, got 4 of you here. Yum. That's nice. The bush survival books, I don't know those, Susan. I've had these books for a long, long time. I also have, at the time, it was the entire Foxfire books, but I have the Foxfire series. I have like 10 or 11 books of them. And those I have read and read and read, but it's been a long time, so I'm going to have to reread them because you know how your memory is. It goes south, especially as you get older like me. So, is there any listen to me. Is there any particular topic you guys want to know anything about canning meat or making cottage cheese or preparing beef, veal, lamb, or pork for storage or anything? Tell you what to eat in the woods. Where to find water. Oh yeah, the book series is awesome, Freaky Geek. You should probably see about getting the rest of it. Because the first says hog dressing, log cabin building, mountain crafts and foods, planting by the signs, snake lore, hunting tales, faith healing, moonshining, and other affairs of plain living. That's just the first one. You know, I've got 10 or 11 of them. There's a whole stack of them behind my computer over here and my sewing machine. So, good things to know. Now, you know, it doesn't have the best pictures in the world in the Foxfire series, but it has a lot of information. So, like I was flipping through this one and it was showing how to make shingles. Okay. Out of a big round log, and it was kind of cool about how they split them and to make the shakes. So, first aid, huh? Freaky. That's too nuts. Well, I don't have a first aid book. Okay. Everything I know is stuff that I've learned over the years, and I took a first aid course many years ago. Um, and I was a nursing aide for just a little while, but not long. And I've doctored horses and livestock my entire life. Most of what I know on first aid is actually veterinary care. But if you think about it, the same can be said for people as it does for animals. A cut's a cut, right? An infection is an infection. So, and it is what it is. If you get hurt, you get hurt. You got to know how to fix that up. Hi, Creative. How are you? I could give people stitches if I had to. The problem with stitches is them jerking because I don't have any way to numb it. And in an SHTF situation, that's going to be an issue. You could, in a pinch, this is how they did it way back when. I mean, way back when, is they used to use a hair out of a horse's tail. And they would wash it and use it for suturing. That being said, horse's hair does not like to tie very well. It wants to come untied. So, but that's what they used to use. And they'd use regular string too, but the problem with horse's tail is the chance for infection. Much better option would be butterfly bandages, if nothing else. So, 5 knuckle sandwich knockdown. Okay. I think I've heard of that, Monica. Is that where you put it on there and then you pull it and it just kind of pulls the edges of the wound together? There's also glue too. I have super glued a few horses' head wounds. So, well, Creative, I was going to go over this book, Stocking Up. It's in my homesteading books. But everybody seems to be more interested in first aid. So, if that's the case, then that's the case. If that's what you want to hear about it, we'll talk about it. So I've got my little first aid kit right here, my little boo-boo kit that I took out of my pack. And yeah, right, Creative? And I'll pull everything out of it. This is it. This is my boo-boo kit. This is in my my bug out bag. And in here, first rattle out of the bag here, literally, pun intended, is Band-Aids. I have quite a few Band-Aids in here. That's a big chunk of Band-Aids. The next thing I have in here is 2 feminine panty liners. Okay, these are clean, of course. The reason for these is because they absorb. I don't have an EDC boo-boo kit. Well, mostly I stay home, so I don't really go anywhere. My boo-boo kit's already here. So now then I have some of these little butterfly stitches. Okay, in case of a larger cut. I have quite a few of them. Here's some more of those original Band-Aids. And I have in here, I have a few things of burn relief. Because if you're out in an SHTF situation and you have to start a fire and you burn yourself, there you go, right? Now you have it. So I've got a couple of packages of burn relief gel. I've got a couple of packages of Denta relief gel. Now this is for like toothaches. I have 2 packages of antibiotic ointment. Now this is eye drops. This is in case you need to flush your eye out, or if you hurt your eye and whatever. I've got eye drops. Then I also have a few alcohol prep pads, an iodine, Providone iodine pad, Then I have 4 fingertip bandages. And these are the stretchy kind. The reason I have those is because if you bust a knuckle open or you cut the end of your finger, which is more likely to happen, especially if you're using a knife, then you need to have something to be able to cover that up. I do not have in here, in this just the boo-boo kit, I don't have any stitching agents to stitch anything up. I do have some hydrocortisone cream, and I have some muscle rub. Because if you're bugging out and you're hauling a pack, you're going to get sore. So you want something for that. And the hydrocortisone cream is for chafing or poison ivy, things of that nature. I think I have my other kit here too. Hold on, let me look. What did I do with it? I don't know what I did with it. Let me look. Of course, there's my tourniquet. Now in here, I have, right, creative, exactly. In here I have a venom extractor, okay? I'll give you guys a look at it. I do not know how, it's not focusing. Okay, you guys can see that? Okay, and in here is, it's like a big syringe, okay? It's basically just a syringe. And it's got several different tips, different sizes. Let's say if you get bit by a snake, you know, you'd put this over and then you would draw up on the thing. I don't know if you guys can see this. And it sucks the venom out. There's one here that's more oblong shaped. Now in here is also a disposable razor so that you can make a good, you have to shave the hair off from around it so you can make a good seal. There is a couple of sting cares. This is for stings and bites, like bug bites, maybe spider, I don't know. A couple of alcohol prep pads and a few band-aids. And excuse me, I swallowed them. And it comes with a guide, instructions on how to use it. Okay. Now everybody thinks of the old-timey snake bite kits where you cut somebody and bleed the venom out of them. Well, you're liable to do more damage than good by doing that. I've been told these things are useless. I don't know if they are. I've never been bitten by a snake, so I don't plan on it. But it's in my bug out bag along with my cat tourniquet. My son gave this to me. I have another first aid kit around here somewhere, but I couldn't honestly tell you where I stuck it. It's probably down in my bag somewhere. Probably. I have a lot of kits inside my kit. So, ooh, Altoids. Yes. Forgot where I'd put these. I keep a couple of cans of Altoids in there too. Not only for the candy, but for the tin when I'm done. I don't know if it'll work for a bee sting. You got to get the stinger out first, Freedom. And, you know, I carry Benadryl on my keychain. Okay, I've got one of those little pill bottles, you know, that goes on your keychain. And in there is aspirin and Benadryl. I'm allergic to wasp stings, and I'm actually out of them right now. They expired, but I usually carry a couple of EpiPens with me. Because one time I almost died from a wasp, a big red one. Actually, I think it was a hornet, but it was huge. I still have a scar where it actually stung me. It was so bad. but it put me into anaphylactic shock, and I went to the hospital. I almost died on the way to the hospital, literally. So it's nothing to mess around with. And if you have an EpiPen, you must keep fresh ones around, because it'll actually poison you if it's out of date and it's gotten too hot. If it's discolored, I think it crystallizes a little bit in there. So if you have an EpiPen and it's out of date, you need another one. Right now there's a shortage going on from them, from what I understand. But you definitely, if you are afraid of something like that. Now, they gave me also Tagamet and prednisone when I went into the hospital, because it was like an alpha blocker and a beta blocker or something like that. Plus they gave me epinephrine and liquid Benadryl in the shop. And I literally had, from my knees to right here on my chin, was one solid big red welt. It was such a bad reaction. If you push on the stinger, creative, it's liable to make the poison go in more go in faster, or squeeze the poison in. Your best is to take and gently scrape it off to keep the little sac on the end of the stinger from pumping any more of that into you. Does that make sense? Well, I don't like getting stung either. That sucks. But yeah, when I got hurt, I was out in the garden, and I had been stung before 2 or 3 times that year. And the doctor told me that you're not necessarily born with your allergies, you develop them. So if you develop an allergy, and you can develop it about after one sting, you can get stung by a bee. Next week you get stung again and it kills you. Okay. Now, one thing about bees and wasps, when they sting you, they actually put a chemical into your system that other bees or wasps recognize, and that marks you as an enemy. It's like a chemical marker that they put into your bloodstream, and the other bees, if it was a bee that stung you, if the other bees recognize that chemical marker and identify you, okay, you've been stung before, you're an enemy. So if you've gotten stung recently, be very careful to try not to get stung. Yeah, pheromone, that's what it is. Try not to get stung again, and stay away from bees for a little while, okay, till that stuff works out of your system. And it will eventually work out. It's just, I don't know how long it takes, though. Do you have any idea, Freedom, how long that pheromone takes to go out of your system? Hopefully he'll know. But yeah, they do. They'll inject that chemical into you, and then the other insects know that you're foe, that you're an enemy. It's pretty wild, actually. This was in Oklahoma that I got stung, and I was weeding my tobacco patch, because you're allowed to grow your own tobacco for your own use. I was out weeding it and cutting the flower heads off of the tobacco to keep it from, to keep it growing. Yeah, a lot of people say the meat tenderizer. I don't know. I've heard tobacco, meat tenderizer. I've heard of all different kinds of things. I'm not sure that much of anything really helps the sting, to be honest with you, except for maybe some topical Novocaine of some sort, Solarcaine, something that will numb the skin a little bit. I know that with I've read, I don't know this for a fact, I've read, like with a mosquito bite, if you take a spoon and you heat it up, like under hot water, or dip it in boiling water till it's, and then you press it down onto the sting, the heat breaks down the enzyme that's in the mosquito that it injects in you to keep it from itching. So that's another option. I wouldn't, take a lighter and light yourself up, because I'm thinking that the burn would be worse than the sting, but that's me. And I'm not really sure if that works, but I haven't been stung by a mosquito in so long. It's, I don't know, a long time. There you go, creative. You can order seeds online for tobacco, but before you order the seeds online for tobacco, you need to make sure you know what kind of tobacco you want to grow, because most like commercial cigarettes, they're a blend of tobaccos. Okay, it's not just one kind of tobacco. Most of them have a blend, and I don't know what the blend is, but they also have leaf cutters that will chop the leaves up really fine for you so you can roll them or pack them into a pipe. Yeah, I know, right? Definitely, if you get near a yellow jacket nest and they start swarming, you better get the heck out of Dodge, because they will come after you. Ask my sons, they know all about that. In their eternal children's wisdom, tell you a story. My oldest boy and my youngest boy decided they were going to pee on a yellow jacket nest. Yeah, that didn't go over so good. They didn't get their pecker stung, but one of them got stung in the ear and the other one got stung on the neck, I think. Yeah, they were going to pee on the yellow jacket nest. That was not the smartest thing they've ever done. Oh my God, it was. I felt so bad for them because I know that hurts, to get stung. But the way they got stung was just, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they peed on it. It's like when my oldest boy had my younger son pee on the electric fence. Oh my God. That was too funny. That was just way too funny. I'm almost laughing over here. I'm trying not to. So, yeah. Pro tip, don't pee on a yellow jacket nest. I'm sorry. Yeah, they were lucky. They were very lucky. It wasn't a very big nest. It didn't have but a few cells in it, so I guess it was maybe a fairly new one, because I had not noticed any yellow jackets coming out of that spot before. So, but whatever was there was pissed, and they were running, man. It went out. So, another pro tip: don't pee on an electric fence. Oh, third pro tip: never bring a knife to a gunfight. That's the best one of all. So, how many people do I got in here right now? Oh, I have 4. Nice. Hopefully more than 4. It doesn't always show an up-to-date amount. Yeah, ant beds are horrible. Now, what I've used for ant beds in the past is that, oh, it's an ant bait. What's that called? I can see a picture of it. Very, very toxic stuff. It's granules to sprinkle on the ant bed. Oh, jar. It's right down the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. Read it. You sprinkle that stuff around on an ant bed, and the ants take it in there, and the whole ant bed's dead by morning. It's kind of a delayed reaction poison. But now, one time I accidentally killed a goat with that. Okay. I had a big red ant bed out there in the back, and I'd sprinkled some of that all over there on there. Okay. And the goats ran over and started licking it off the ground, and I pushed them away, and I threw a piece of plywood over it, but just the little bit that they managed to get, one of them died, foaming at the mouth. It was pretty bad. Be very careful with the ant poison if you've got livestock. In other words, I didn't even think they would want, because I fed them, right? Yeah, don't whiz on the electric fence. I fed these guys way far away. It was out in the pasture. I fed them way far away, and then took the ant killer down there while they were busy. right? But one of them happened to see that sprinkled down on the ground, and they run over there so fast you could make your head spin. I didn't even see them coming until they run by me and started licking it up. I don't know what them goats were thinking. Well, they weren't thinking because they're stupid goats, but yeah. Amdro, that's the name of it. Amdro is the ant killer, and it will kill livestock. Hi, Miss Pat. Oh, there's a guy on YouTube, Survival Russia is the name of the channel. And he actually had a video on how to keep mosquitoes and bugs off of you when you're out in the forest, and it was using an anthill. Now I'll tell you how he did it. He took a handkerchief and he poked a stick at the anthill and got them riled up. He threw the handkerchief down on the anthill and let the ants swarm that handkerchief for like an hour, you know. Then he came in, he knocked it off, and then he shook all the ants off of it, and the ants had bit that thing with their mouths so much that it had an odor, and he wiped that on himself, and he had no bugs bothering him. I guess the other bugs don't want to deal with the big mean ants. I don't know if diatomaceous earth would work good on that, Freedom, because they are an exoskeleton, so they're more protected than a soft-bodied insect. A soft-bodied insect, diatomaceous earth will get. Hi, Piney Haven. But anyway, with the ants, he used that handkerchief, and then he folded it up and stuck it in a Ziploc baggie to use for later. So now I don't know exactly how good that works, but in an SHTF situation, if that's your only way to make some sort of a bug repellent, it's a good thing to know anyway. I'm glad you're here, guys. Very much glad you're here. Just don't get stung by the ants and you'll be all right. Just poke a stick at them, especially fire ants. You know how they swarm and they get all pissy. Just throw it down on there and let them swarm that handkerchief. And then after a while, maybe an hour or whatever, or when they quit swarming it, realizing it's not attacking them, then take a stick and knock it off of there, and then kind of move the stick around and shake it out and get all the ants off of it. You don't want to get stung. And then use it. Yeah, in Texas down there when I was a kid, we used to get big mounds of fire ants. Boy, they hurt. Oh, Monica, thank you for coming by, hon. Appreciate you being here. Hi, lovely Lisa. Glad you're here, hon. I started out going to talk about homesteading books, but then we got into first aid. So for anybody who wasn't here for the start of this, so if you guys have any tips or tricks, I'll be more than glad to share it. Absolutely share it. That way we all will know something. Now, one thing you can try to do to prevent ticks from getting on you is, well, first of all, they crawl up. Okay. And if you turn upside down, they'll turn around and crawl the other way. Let me pull this piece of cloth out here. Hold on. Turn it right side out. I was fixing it. I had to re-sew it. So if you have a piece of cloth, okay, and it's folded over, like say you tuck in your shirt, you loosen it up some, and then it kind of drapes down on the outside, the ticks will actually get up in that crease rather than on you. In the same way with your pants. If you have the option to, take and sew about halfway up your shin, maybe. Sew a piece of cloth tube in there with like an elastic or a drawstring that you can put down in your socks. And then if they crawl up your boots and they get up in there, they'll be trapped. They won't, because they'll go under to crawl up in, but then they'll get trapped there and they won't make it all the way up your clothes to wherever they can get into your skin. Yeah, they a lot of cedar trees in Oklahoma carry them too. And I was told once, but I don't know how exactly accurate this is you know those little balls of spit that you see down in the grass sometimes? From what I understand, that's ticks hatching out. So that's what I was told. I don't know for sure, but I have been around those before and got lots of ticks on me. So I'm guessing that it might be pretty accurate, but I'm not positive about that. Just like it looks like somebody spit on the ground, you know, just little white foamy spit looking stuff. And that's what I was told was ticks hatching out. Like I said, don't know if it's accurate, but if you see those around, and some of you may have seen what I'm talking about, if you see some of those around, it might not be a bad idea to just spray that little area, especially when you first see it. Just take like a pump-up garden sprayer, just cover that little area so that if it was ticks hatching out, you got them before they get big and bite you. There's quite a few species of tick, but it's the ones that carry Lyme disease, I think, that you have to really worry about. Of course, there's always the other diseases you might have to worry about too, like a staph infection. Okay, you can get a staph infection from a spider bite or a tick bite or anything, because you know they don't brush their teeth, they don't clean their mouths with Listerine. Okay. Miss Pat says a shovel full of ants from one bed to another, and a shovel from that bed back to the first one, then they'll kill each other. Hold the shovel to the side as you walk, no doubt. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Miss Pat, what about if they're all the same type of ant? Okay, like black ants from one bed to would that work, do you think? I know that if they're different species of ants, they'll fight. Yeah, my dad used to tell me that they used to tie a strip of kerosene around their boots. Take a strip of cloth, dip it in kerosene, and then wrap it around their boot and tie it. I don't know if that works. It might. It doesn't hurt, I guess. The gray-bearded green beret has a it's a Nesmix punky dope. That's what it's called. PunkydOPE. Basically, it's pine tar and beeswax and some sort of an essential oil, and you melt it all together, and it makes this cream, and it's dark, and you can smear that on yourself. So, dry grits. Okay. Well, I can see how that would work, because it's like feeding rice to birds, you know. It'll swell up in your craw. Grits will swell up. Yep. And the grits would be the non-toxic way to do it, really. Of course, diatomaceous earth would be, I think, probably the best for not hurting anything. But I'm not sure that it would work. So I have to try the grit thing, definitely, because a few grits wouldn't hurt a bird. If there was a big pile of them and they ate it, maybe. So, I don't know about the ant thing, though. It's quite possible. But okay, we'll get back to the first aid thing, since we didn't talk about the homesteading thing. First aid for burns. Okay, I'll tell you guys a story. Many, many years ago, we had replaced the motor on a big 1-ton Dodge dually. Okay, and there's such a big truck it barely fit the nose into the garage, with about this much room on either side. It's a big truck, right? And the garage wasn't one of the great big 16-foot garage doors. Anyway, we got the motor changed out, and it was having a problem with the timing. So my husband at the time, he in his infinite wisdom said, you need to prime the carburetor. Okay? So he had me take a little gas in the bottom of a little cup and crawl up on the bumper and lean over and put a little bit of that into the carburetor. did that a couple of times, and all that thing suddenly exploded out, and it blew gas and flames into my face, and I was actually on fire. And when I opened my eyes, all I saw was solid orange flames. Okay, burned all my hair off. I had, thank goodness it was cool, and I had a jacket that was buttoned up to my neck and had long sleeves on. But it gave me first and second and severe second-degree burns all over my face. It actually burned this little flap right off on my ear right here. You know how like you got this little flap on your ear? Well, I don't have it on this side anymore. It hurts. Burning hurts. So in all your first aid kits, you should have some serious burn, maybe some silver gel. You need to have, burns are an issue. You should really be careful with those. And also, you can use petroleum jelly on burns. Okay, after the burning stopped, just to keep the air off of it, because the air is what makes it hurt worse than anything. But yeah, from here, this way, I got a facelift the hard way. Okay? And trust me, it hurts. When the morphine doesn't touch the pain when they're taking tweezers and peeling the skin off your face. Okay, so pro tip: don't be priming your carburetors with gas, or if you do, stand way the hell back. Okay. Yeah, well, it hurt. Morphine didn't touch the pain, really. All it does is really kind of knock me out where I didn't feel it, but it didn't actually get rid of the pain. That's why I have burn gel in my boo-boo kit. Okay, strictly for that reason. Yeah, Colloidal Silver Works, they have that silver gel that it's probably a petroleum-based gel with silver in it. And the silver helps with the healing, but yeah, I went up to the Oklahoma City Burn Center over that deal. So, and I've never primed a carburetor since, needless to say. Yeah, it does. But it also will block the air off of a burn. You can use triple antibiotic ointment as well, because burns are very highly, they're highly susceptible to infection. Yeah, while I was in the burn center, they brought in like 4 guys. They were burning a bunch of brush, and they poured gasoline all over it, and it flashed back at them. The fumes did, burned them very badly. So yeah, burns are the worst. I think I can handle being cut. If you looked at if you could see my arms, I don't even know if you can see all the scars on my arms. I'm doing barbed wire. So, yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of cuts and scars on me because of that, stretching barbed wire. My dad didn't believe in girls doing girl things. I was the only kid for most of my life. He had some other kids from a previous marriage that weren't his, they were hers, that they were my half brother and sister, but he wasn't their real dad. He used to bring him in every once in a while when he'd want to feel like a good father. So he was not a very good man. He worked me like a dog, like a slave, really. But I remember out there, God, I was only like 4th grade or something, and I was tamping post holes and digging post holes because I was handy, and he was inside drinking coffee. So. Oh, you're good, Miss Pat. Everybody, this is Miss Pat. She's awesome. She's been on my channel from almost the beginning. I think probably the first couple of weeks, easy. if not one of the first ones. She was right real close to there, and she has looked at all my videos. She's very supportive and an awesome person. So thank you, Miss Pat. You're totally cool. But I've been on here for 40 minutes, guys. I don't want to keep you forever. If you guys have another topic you'd like to discuss, we can discuss it. Otherwise, I'll let you guys go because I don't want to bore you. So, I have to wait for the chat to catch up with what I say because there's a lag. So if I stop and I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking down at the chat to see if anybody types anything. There's definitely at least a 5-second lag, maybe 10. I'm not sure. So. It's quite possible, creative. It depends on how much of your skin is actually burned. If it's a good portion, yeah, it's going to totally mess you up. I mean, I'm talking, just a little tiny burn with a little tiny blister isn't necessarily, life-threatening, even though it could get infected. And in an SHTF situation, you need to pretend that it could get infected and keep it clean and washed. So, love you too, Miss Pat. Thank you for coming, sweetie. Everybody, thank you for coming very much. I appreciate all of you. You guys don't know how much I appreciate your support. I mean, you guys come in and you talk on my videos and you leave comments. And, hey, FDL. Oh, my goodness. You did it again, FDL. We were just fixing to wrap it up. Oh, shoot. That's the third time in a row. There's 2 cats here. One's, believe it or not, one's named Khaleesi and the other one's named Arya. They weren't mine. I didn't name them. They were my son's soon-to-be ex-wife's cats. So, oh, yeah. Oh, I'll bring Gizzy in here real quick. Gizzy, come here. Gizzy, come. Here she comes. I'll pick up the camera. I'll try to move it slowly as to not make you guys dizzy. There she is. There's Gizzy Bear. Oh, hold still. You're making everybody dizzy by moving too fast. There she is. That's my girl. Oh, yeah. Yeah, her's a good girl. You gonna eat them zombies? You gonna get them zombies? You gonna get the zombies? Yeah, she gonna get them zombies, man. Let me put the camera back down. She is very sweet, Piney Haven. She's really smart, too. She likes to be a lap dog, too. Watch this. Gizzy, load up. Load up. Load up. She's trying to jump in my lap. She's too fat. She's like me. Come on. Come on. Load up. Come on, load up. Load up. She's right here. She's trying to get on my lap. All right. All right. Here we go. There she is. Okay. Oh. There's a Gizzy Bear. Oh, she's happy. Oh, yeah. Okay, you need to get down. You're too big and heavy. Oh, oh goodness. She's very sweet, but she's too big for a lap dog. She weighs about 45 pounds. She's huge for a lap dog. When she was little, I used to turn her over on her back and lay her on my arm like a little baby, and she used to get her lap time, and she loved it. She loved it. So she thought that was the most awesome thing. And then when she got a little bit bigger, she didn't understand why she didn't fit on my lap anymore. So she still insists on jumping up on the bed every night when I'm laying there, because I read a little while before I go to sleep. Yeah, right, FDL? And she insists on jumping up onto the bed to be close to me for a little while. And then she goes back to her dog crate, which I rarely ever even shut. But it's got a nice thick mattress in there for her, about yay thick, so that she can be comfortable. And she's got her own pillow and her own toys and stuffed animals and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, she piles them up in there. She gathers them all up in a pile. Yeah, she's a blue heeler. Well, her sister was a blue All of her sisters and brothers were blue. But, oh, thanks, Creative. I appreciate you coming, sweetie. She just never merled out. Sometimes a healer doesn't do that. They don't merle out. They just stay white. It happens. So I think that's why I wanted her, because she wasn't like all the other puppies. Yeah, I have got to think up some more videos. I didn't know, I could show you all kinds of cooking stuff, but this was more of a survivalism channel rather than a cooking channel. And so I've been trying to think up things to record for you guys. And I'm coming up with a blank right now. So, hey, Central Florida, we were just fixing to leave, babe. Yep. Because I've been on for almost an hour. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate all of you coming very, very much. If you could hit the thumbs up on the way out, I'd appreciate it. If you haven't already. Oh, you're good, Florida. You're about the third person from Florida in here today, I think. Second or third. We had a lot of people from Florida here. So, yes, you do. Because I actually, Piney Haven, I need to go over there and watch yours. Yeah, Pat, I've got a bunch of good people on my list. I've got a bunch of people that I don't know much about on there too. But if you look in my liked videos, you'll see a bunch of videos that I've watched that I like. Lately, I've been getting in on how to butcher pigs and cows and sheep and things of that nature. So I'll know how to do it for myself. So, yeah, thanks, Florida. I appreciate it, hon. And everybody, I want everybody to have a great day today and an even greater day tomorrow. And y'all come back and see me.